Hello and welcome to episode 11 of ClapTrap Podcast. This is the Halloween episode where we're recording live in the
campsite
and we'll be telling ghost stories.
Live in the
campsite
It says the studio.
campsite
Just my.
campsite
But no, it's not. It's a fucking radio.
campsite
Welcome to
campsite
Live in the studio.
campsite.
Again,
That was a very lighthearted and just happy intro for
the darkest
the
subject.
eldritch horrors that are about to follow.
Oh, I want people to know that I'm a wonderful person.
Is this podcast a subversion?
Fuck you. Okay, so scary stories, ghost stories. Trent, do you believe in ghosts?
You know, I'll tell you something. I think it's every big analytical boy or whatever that is a personality on the internet that I've listened to. You know, obviously consider themselves smart guys or whatever, right? And okay,
Smart show.
yeah. And whenever I hear these guys talk about like ghosts, it's like, of course I, the intellectual, don't believe in such things. But here's a spooky thing that happened once that I can't explain. Definitely an explanation for it. I just don't have one. But like, that being said, kind of is my answer, I guess. I believe in, I guess, spirits, right?
Sure, why not?
I just don't believe, I guess, that they're dead people. I think they were just things that were already there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
And they're just like
I get that.
they're their own deal. I don't believe in ghosts in a traditional sense, I guess, but I believe in spirit juice in the air.
Are you suggesting that there's a world akin to ours that we just can't see but is real and there? And
Well, I
We
mean,
can mildly
if you
interact
believe
with
in
it at
the idea of spirituality, then that's a given fact, as that ties into your belief system. You know, I do think there is a spiritual plane, for lack of a better term. It's just another facet of all that is, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't even think there's like a thing to like be like, whoa, can you? It's just like a thing to me that is there. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah, that's cool, man. Fucking.
So Zed, do you believe in ghosts?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm with you on a lot of that. I'm not entirely sure I believe that it's the dead itself.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the lingering consciousness of the dead or their spirit or whatever. But I do think it is separate entities.
Yeah.
I do believe they are real. I have made contact. I have seen them.
I have made contact.
I have used and manipulated them. And they have a rich history with my family.
I will say, I do believe in some of this stuff, but I think a lot of what goes on in the spooky world, the paranormal, a lot of it's fake. And television. And while you're gonna tell me some stuff, I feel like in these stories that I'm gonna be like, yo, that's legit, I believe you. I feel like you're also gonna say things that I'm gonna call out as bullshit.
That's fair. That's fair.
And knowing you have a wider catalog than me, I'll let you open with a spooky story.
My stepmom used to practice. Well, no, she does. She is a practicing witch. And of course that sort of influenced my sisters quite a bit. So they would dabble in magic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would fuck around with the unseen, the unknown, and
unbeknownst to some people, if I can just make a quick aside, is the fact that, like, of course, I think we've talked about coming from the Appalachian region a lot and like what that means. Why not take another chance to educate people on it? So it is like in the Bible Belt, right? And people wouldn't think this because it's so heavily like old school Christian down there. But many of the settlers of Appalachia, the first European settlers, were Irish. And of course that brought Christianity, but it also brought like paganism. So there's like there's kind of a big witch culture in Appalachia, oddly enough.
Very underground.
But it's palpable.
Hmm.
So that influenced your sisters.
Heavily. And I think there's, with women especially, just the appeal of being a quote-unquote witch.
It's
And-
the granny witch thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would, like, fuck around and always tell me, like, ghost stories. Like, they would feel things grab at their feet at night,
Mm-hmm.
jerk their blanket around, or
Yeah.
see dark figures in the hallway.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's just unsettling. And something about the land there itself is that it felt sad. You ever been in a land or a piece of property and it just felt really sad? Like the
Yeah.
land is weeping?
There's just like this fucking like where shit, it didn't even register on the audio.
Okay.
Yeah. There's this big fucking what? You made me lose what I was gonna say. Tapping a microphone like that. I fucking forget. But yes, I agree. But yeah, I'm there with you.
So that area was an old coal mining area during the early 20th century. Like, you can go and visit these coal mines,
Right.
and they're like pseudo dungeons. I've never crawled.
No,
up
they
in
are.
one.
The old coal mines back home are the closest thing you'll ever find to like just wandering around Skyrim or Fallout and coming on a dungeon.
Yeah, you can
That's
crawl back in
exactly
there.
what it is.
But like, you have to realize the amount of just tragedy that went on during early 20th century coal mining.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah,
the
like
deaths and
God,
the
Like-
disease and
so many deaths.
so that entire just chunk of the land feels broken and sad. Not to mention the chemical spill in the 90s that killed everybody. So
Yeah,
it is just a depressing place to be, and it sort of puts off that vibration.
I get you.
So, like, there's an element of belief to my sister's stories.
Mm-hmm.
You can sort of feel that and sort of buy into that they are maybe capable of seeing such things. And, like, seeing these dark figures in hallways and all of that. And I've always sort of felt uneasy up there. Like, it's
Yeah.
impossible not to. Like, there'd be some places we go up into the mountains and be happy-go-lucky, and you step into this one place, and it's like, you just feel like you need to leave.
I get you. So are you saying that there is some kind of like fucking energy about it all?
Yes, energy would be the correct word for it. It's good and bad energy, these light and dark vibrations the land puts off. That being said, I am Zed Dalen. And what Zed Dalen means in some circles
It's some sort.
around that time was mad occultist. I'm not proud of it, but it happened.
Listen, we all have a chuny phase.
So, I started fucking around with witchcraft there around that time.
Mm-hmm.
With just no filter. Like, if I could jump into the deep end, I would jump into the deep end, go to the bottom and say, let's dig.
Let's dig.
So, like, there was a period where I was fucking around with that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when I began to see things. Now, when it comes to seeing spirits, you can't see them straight on. I've never been able to. I've always seen them in my peripheral.
Yeah.
Like,
That's legit.
I would be sitting there on the computer, and I would see clear as day a woman in a white dress with black hair, and her face would be hollowed out.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, like, my skin would run cold, and I would jump and turn around and look, and she'd be gone.
Yeah.
Or and my sisters talked about her as well, this small blonde girl in that early 20th century dress with curly hair,
Yeah.
crying at my sister's bedside.
Huh.
And it was fucking scary, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a major reason why I didn't spend a lot of time in that house during that summer, because if I was alone, I could see that shit in the corner of my eyes.
Shit would get spooky, dog.
I'd walk past mirrors and I'd see the woman with the hollow face, and eventually I was like, you know what? Let's fix this. It's a mess. This is a fucking mess. So I ordered a grimoire
As you do.
and did a proper cleansing of the house, and it fixed the issue. Now, I don't know if the issue came back, because my sisters, they mix Christianity and witchcraft, which is like...
From my stance, that's legit. I mean,
It's-
I could come to defense of it. I guess. I don't want to talk too much about my religion in this podcast, but I don't know. It might come up a little bit.
It can be a recipe for disaster. Because you go in with a level of half-assedness, and you sort of botch things up. So I could see
it makes them have too much reservations, is what you mean?
Yeah, of course. A lot of reservations, a lot of faith, a lot of this, a lot of that, and it's like, well, you could go in the battlefield with nothing but faith, or you could put your Kevlar on. It's up to you, really. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But in a bullet storm, I'd like the Kevlar myself.
Well, that's kind of a weird comparison. From their point of view, Jesus is probably a pretty good Kevlar.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be my first ghost story.
Okay.
I guess it's your turn.
God, I'm trying to think. I mean, we've all seen the little stuff, right? You know, and I was never a mad occultist like Zed Dalen, so I'm trying to fish for any of the little moments that were of palpable weight, I guess, or whatever. So, let's see. Just one night when we were all real spooked. I think it was like 14 or maybe I was 15, and me and Jake and a couple of other guys were all like having a sleepover in like his sister and her husband's like basement in Everett's. It was a basement, but it was like above ground. It was just like the house was built on top of this stone basement area. Even it was above ground, but it was, I don't know. Just to look at it, you're like, this is a basement, I guess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we were all, I think it was, I can't remember when it was. I don't know if it was a Halloween thing, but it was in the fall, and we wanted to get spooky, I think. And so we were watching some scary movies down there, and had like a TV set up on the fucking cart, like they bring in the classroom, and we were watching like scary DVDs, and I can't remember what Jake did to start like getting spooky, but he was like, I'm gonna rouse up some spirits, boys, or something, and just starts doing shit. We're all, we're a bunch of kids. We're like, Jake, stop! You're gonna bring the devil. You're gonna bring the devil out. I don't know. Spooky stuff did start happening though.
What'd you do?
I can't remember what Jake did, but what happened was obviously there was just a bunch of like banging and stuff started happening, like that could have been attributed to pipes even. But all I remember is that at one point, let's see. God, I don't know. The light. Okay, so there was a bunch of sounds and the lights would go on and off, and we tried to like run upstairs or whatever when it got spooky, and the banging, it turned out, was his sister's husband was fucking with us upstairs and had locked the door. But when that all came out, like what wasn't explained was like the lights, and like at one point there was like a section of that basement which was just like a pile of junk, as all basements have. And at one point I saw just like something came up out of the pile of junk and flew across the room, just like I don't know what it was because it moved too fast, but it was just like it was a palpably sized object that is like that couldn't have like came up from nothing and just flown across the room, but it did. And he was like, yeah, I locked the door and I was banging on shit to spook you guys, and I dropped something from the elevator shaft. But that wasn't the thing. And then I was like, well, what about the thing that flew? And he was like, it was like the end of the scary story. He's like, what? I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Oh, that's a pretty good one. I think we've all had our Bloody Mary
just the
days.
little moment, yeah, the little teenage spooksters.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Smack this gum too much.
So I'm gonna tell the very recent Ouija board story. And
I don't fuck with Ouija boards. That shit's, I don't know.
And I feel myself compelled to give a very brief lesson in magic. When fucking with something you shouldn't, to be like, oh my god, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, no, ah, demons, you know, you gotta keep a level head. If you do not keep a level head, you are vulnerable. That being said, I decided to fuck with my sisters. So, two of my sisters, and I'm gonna give them numbers, 1, 2, and 3. So, 1 and 2 shows up at my place very recently with a friend and a boyfriend, and we all went out, had a good time, we ate, and we bought a Ouija board. We took it out to the docks at my campus. We sat down, turned on some light, and just fired it up. Fired that bad boy up. Incidentally, spirits are illiterate, so we...
maybe in Eastern Kentucky they are.
So we're sitting there, we're just talking to these guys, just chilling, being bros, and it was my turn to ask the questions, so... I get to asking on the questions, I think to myself, all those 3 a.m. YouTube challenges and shit. And they're like, hey, you know the Zozo thing? Are you familiar with Zozo?
It sounds familiar. Why don't you refresh me?
It's the Ouija board demon.
The Ouija board demon.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had its own demon.
It's up for debate. So I go, do you know Zozo? And my sisters had a goddamn heart attack. And it was the funniest thing in the world. And they're like, push the Ouija board to goodbye, start chewing me out. And I'm like...
Did you get an answer before they did that?
No.
Nah.
But it's weird, like...
Too spooky.
They, like, panic out when trying to do this stuff and trying to live up to, I guess, their mom's legacy or something.
That's gay, dog.
I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
My, number 2, actually, goes on about being psychic and being able to communicate with spirits, and they tell her shit.
That's a little chuny.
I'm not sure I buy into it completely.
Yeah.
Like, she goes, after my car wreck, she had a horrible fucking car wreck. Like, it's a miracle she lived through that. But after her car accident, she said she was able to do that. I don't know, giving her, because it came up a conversation. She's like, hey, Andrew, you want a reading? I was like, oh, you're into tarot? She goes, no, I talk to the dead.
Oh.
Not gonna lie, you know what? We'll see how that develops. We'll see if it's legitimacy, placebo, or mental illness.
That's one of the things I'm gonna go ahead and call my first bullshit on that one. Not into it.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know how I feel. You know what? If there's things that I don't tell anybody, and if she does a supposed reading and she tells me things that I don't tell anybody, I'll buy into something. But at the same time, I don't want to take that chance because I'm a superstitious fuck.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for her to know these things if it's legit, because I don't tell anybody these things because they're buried deep inside.
Yeah. Well, you're talking theoretics right now anyway,
Yeah.
so you have not convinced me.
Yeah, I'm not convinced myself.
Well, that's legit. Tell another one because I only have like one left.
Okay, so...
It's a good one, though.
Okay, that's fair. I got a bunch of, like, random Bloody Mary ones where they're just fucking around trying to be scared, and they just panic themselves out, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't even feel like it's worth digging through all that. Sister number 1, she's always claimed to have a lot of problems with, I guess...
Boys.
Possessions of houses or something, like at nighttime, the grabbing of the feet, the pulling of the blanket, seeing black figures, fucking pressing down on her at sleeping, keeping her awake at night. So there's those stories like that. Number 3, I don't think number 3 has any good stories. Number 2, she's so skittish, but she tries so hard to be a witch, and I feel bad for her. I don't know. I'm running a blank here. Like, there's so much I want to talk about, but I'm afraid to.
Well, with the houses thing, I don't know. My sister as well, the biological one, is she keeps talking about seeing stuff like in the house, you know, and it's just her. So I don't know. I've been spooked in that house before, but it's. You were talking before about like energies or whatever, about a place that feels sad. The air up there feels clean to me. You know what I mean? Like I go there and I'm just like, not only just because it's like my family home, but it's just like there's a peaceful vibe, you know. So I don't know if this is like a house thing or like a her thing. But it's weird. Like it's got nothing to do with me. But sometimes, like when I've been like around while it's happening, and I'll feel that vibe or whatever, and I'll maybe catch a glimpse of something spooky looking over there, and but nothing I could even like put together. Oh, that looked like something in my mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But she swears she has seen like an apparition that is like me, which is a little odd. You know,
That's
like
cool.
when I wasn't there.
Yeah. That's malicious.
You think so?
That's malicious.
Yeah.
Malicious insult is your friend. I've never seen anything like that. I've noticed a lot of girls tend to have stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
As for myself, like I mentioned seeing things before, but it's weird. Like I went through this weird occult phase, and I saw shit. And I think I may have contributed to that. But then I go through a dead period, and then I go out one night under the night sky and fire it all back up, and then the next day I see shit again. So what went down was I was going through the freshman dorm because everybody had left and I was looting. And hey, fuck you! I got a mini fridge doing that.
Oh my god, if they left it behind, I guess it's fair game.
Yeah, trash is trash. So out of the corner of my eye, I see a maid lean down near a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And it spooked me, of course, because like that's not something that happened in the past 3 years. So I'm sitting there, I jump and I look over. Of course, you know, peripheral vision, turn around, gone.
Okay.
So,
You said, because you said they were like clearing out the dorms, I thought you meant like just a physically real person who is working as a maid and cleaning
No.
up.
So I go over there to the trash can. I was like, am I supposed to be over here?
Yeah.
I look down, I see an unopened thing of root beer that I gave to the RA that was stuck there for a few weeks because he didn't have any access to such things.
Okay.
Which brings up the question of, are there such things as malicious or good quote-unquote spirits?
Mm-hmm.
And does practicing the occult give you wizard eyes?
Wizard eyes.
I'm leaning
I don't
towards
know.
a yes.
I think you can develop some kind of sense of things.
Mhm.
You know. Do you think it's like people have like any natural affinity sometimes for certain weird things? Because I've always like been able to fucking like do something. I think that like I've fought myself about it. Like Trent, you're being an idiot. Like that's not real. But it's like auras. Like
I was going to ask you about that because you mentioned it to me that you could see auras.
Or I think I'm not even sure I fucking believe in it, but like it seems
So when you look at the top of somebody's head, do you see sort of like an energy field around it?
kinda. It's visible. It's a visible thing, but it's not. It doesn't feel the same as seeing. It's like some kind of heat wave thing. It looks a little different than that, but it's like I'm not even seeing it the same way I see anything else. It's like on a different Photoshop layer than the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's an aura. Do you see it in color? Because I can't.
Sometimes
I just see those.
I do with people. Like I've seen, like one of the things when I was with my sister one night, she was getting spooked out real bad. Like it was just like a fucking net around the doorway of her bedroom. I could like make out.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I want to call bullshit on myself on that. You know, I don't know.
Well, I think
I might just be imagining things and I've never been able to decide what I actually think about that.
From my perspective, it seems to me like you're just seeing that energy we talked about,
Yeah.
both good and bad. And I believe that's what aura is.
Yeah, I
could
do.
be wrong.
I
I
do
need
too.
to,
Aura might be like a cringy word for it or whatever, but there's no good terminology for this shit.
No. Like, I can see aura, I gotta look for it. And it's a skill I had to develop because I couldn't do it.
I kind of do too. Like, it's not just there. I have to, like, kind of activate it or whatever, but it's not, like, difficult. I just flip a switch. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to think to myself, I want to look for aura, and that's why I keep looking at you, because I'm, like, doing that.
Right out. What do you see? How am
It's
I
just
feeling,
like-
buddy?
Like I said, I cannot see the color, I cannot see this, I just
Can you see the aura of anime titty around my head? Because that's what I'm thinking about.
I just see, like, the energy field. I can't, it's like a discoloration, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But it's contrast. That's the word you use. It's like a different contrast around that area where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that's as high as
A
I
lot of
go
those
with that
things
skill.
might be like light tricks even, or just like visual fucketry, but you know. In conclusion. You gotta have another story to tell, man.
Yeah, I know. So, my roommate at Union, I was hanging out at my soon-to-be spouse's house, and I go back to my place looking for a binder because it's fucking midterms, you know. Like,
Yeah.
Where's my work? Where's my work? And I couldn't find it. I was panicking, running back and forth between the two places. And my roommate was getting into witchcraft, and he's like, Zed, man, gonna have to teach me. No. Gonna have to teach me. No. Yeah, fine, fuck it, I'll teach you. And I showed him the foundation.
Okay.
And so he's like, that's great. I'm gonna buy a Ouija board. So the first time I go over there, they were hanging out drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Second time I go over there, they were watching porn together. Okay, red flag. Buddy, come here. Is there gonna be an orgy? Because I need to know. I'm doing a lot of running back and forth. If you're gonna fire that up, I just be straight with me tonight. I says, no, we're not gonna have an orgy. Okay, good. Third time I go over there, they're playing with the fucking Ouija board.
Okay. Oh. How about some post-porn demons? I don't.
Get that magical nut. So they were sitting there playing.
Magical nut.
Playing.
First question: Will you give me a little handy from beyond the grave, please?
So I can't remember what it's called. The triangle. Do you know what it's called?
It's lost on me right now.
I don't.
The
fuck with
triangle.
them. Yeah, the triangle. I don't fuck with them that much. That's why I don't know
The reader.
the technical jargon.
There is a specific word for it though.
Yes. So I'm sitting there watching them fuck with it, lining my doorway with salt because my doorway goes into the kitchen, and
Yeah.
there's a wall there. That's the wall there, and on one side's the Ouija board, and on the other side's my fucking bed and dressers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sitting there fucking with it, and they're asking it a question. It's like, what are you going on about? The triangle flies off the board and points to my dresser. And I'm just sitting there looking. Like, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy this. So I just started digging through my dresser.
What'd you find?
Some tarot cards.
Oh,
I don't know if there's a correlation, but it makes for a good story.
It doesn't make for a good story if you didn't find something spooky in the dresser. It just sounds like a nothing.
Like, there's an assortment of things, like rocks and beads and statues and all kinds of things, but
Yeah.
I didn't find anything red flaggy, so I still to this day I don't know what was happening there, which always bothers me because I like to know. I like to be in the know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your turn.
My turn. Okay. I guess I have to break out my final story. It's the curse story. I call this story the Curse of the Glove Factory. Have you ever been up to the old glove factory in Liggett?
I'm learning about all kinds of things. Like, where is a Liggett?
Liggett? It's up 72.
Let's go.
It's like the furthest I've ever been up that road. No, I won't go back to the glove factory anymore. I've been there a few times, and I'll tell you why I'm not returning there. So, it's just this old. It was like originally a school. It's kind of off. 72 anyway is kind of off the road. That's not a highway. That's just an old road, and you go back there for like miles and miles, and you get to Liggett, and then you are going through this like. I think the road back there, like when you get to that point, might even be like single lane, and then you pull off to the side of that, and you go through this like you go up the hill through this fenced, chained off area. That is like a little gravel or dirt thing. You could get a small car up, and go back into the woods and walk down this little path, and you get to this abandoned building. It's a brick building. It's totally fallen in. It's spooky in there, and it was originally like a school, I think, back like in the early 1900s, and then that school closed down, and they turned it into a factory and started making gloves.
That's legit.
That's legit, yeah.
It's a nice, honest business.
Yeah. But I guess it didn't do very well because it's been abandoned fucking forever, and people just go up there to do meth and vandalize, But we went up there just to like fucking smoke weed. No, just to be like, ooh, spooky. I think the first time we went, it was like Halloween. It was Jake and the guys again, and we go up there, and it is nighttime, and we park, and we're about to like somebody scouts ahead, like to make sure we're at the right place while everybody else stays by the car. And I think it was me and some other guy went up there to make sure, and then we come back and we're like, yeah, this is the place, and we're all getting ready to go out, and like on the fence, like we found like a piece of like well-meaning vandalism. It was very scary in the moment, but like it was like it was something. It was like a picture of a cross or something. It was like, you need to be prepared to meet God. And it's like going through that gate on Halloween to the spooky abandoned building. We were all like super spooked by it, but like the next time we came back, it was during the day, and we looked at that, and it was like, this is a church advertisement. This is not supposed to scare us.
Mm-hmm.
But we go back and we were like, yeah, this is the place, and we found this. It was spooky. Be ready to meet God, and Jake's girlfriend at the time, he's his wife now, she was there, and not to call her out or anything, but that spooked her. She was like, I'm not ready to meet God, I'm not getting out of the car. And funny enough, our youth pastor was there, because we had pretty much just become friends with him at this point, and sometimes he'd run around with us, which is kind of weird, our old youth pastor. But he was like, you know what, this ain't my thing, I'll stay in the car with her. It's like, alright. So we just go up there, we walk through the woods for a minute and get up to this old abandoned building and just walk around with flashlights, and just look at it. And it was cool. There's some neat vandalism, some things to see, broken windows. It's very spooky aesthetic for sure. But anyway, we didn't see anything like ghostly happen there, and we just leave after we're done spooking ourselves. And it's like 2 days later. I had recently bought the car that was, I drove out there. I usually drove us everywhere. I was the wheelman of our group, being one of the few with a vehicle. So I drive us out there in a car like I had just recently bought off somebody locally, and like 2 days after that, like the police come to my work, and they're looking for me. Yeah, like because the car, I think it was I recently bought it. Like I didn't have my own insurance yet, so it hadn't transferred it out of my dad's name yet. So they on the intercom called for my dad's name at work, because like they were looking for the owner of that car, and I was like, is he here, and why are they looking for him? So I start going up to the front of the store, and then I see two police officers with my manager, and my manager points at me, and the police flank out, like coming at me. Like one comes right at me and the other goes up the other aisle in case I try to run or something. And they come up to me and they start talking to me and they're like, your car has a stolen license plate on it. Yeah. So the guy, the obvious explanation for that is like it happened pre-glove factory, so you're like, there's no correlation. But the guy who had sold it to me just I don't know, got it through dishonest means, and stole a license plate off of another vehicle that looked just like it and put it on there, and then sold that car to me. But we got all that sorted out, and none of it was on me. They just had to like impound my car, and I had to buy a new license plate. But just like, and so the second time we went back to the glove factory, because we went up there like 3 times total just to fuck around, I guess. So the second time we went up there, again in my car, and we just I think we were somebody was making a short movie and was shooting some spooky scenes for it, and I was like helping out with lighting. And there was one spooky moment where Jake was like showing up later, and like we were walking across the hall that like leads down to the entrance door. We were at the back of the building, and we were walking across the hall, and to go to another room to shoot something. And the other guys didn't see it, but there was like a silhouette walking down the hallway, just like not even like it was just a person. And I'm like, guys, there's somebody out there. And they're like, what? And we peek down the hallway, and there's just somebody like walking towards us, like very menacingly, and they light a firecracker and throw it. It was Jake, just fucking with us. But we just go up there, we fuck around a little bit. He gave us a right spook though. That was cool.
That is cool.
We go up there, we fuck around, we get the shots for that film project, and we leave. And I was working at Pop John's at this time, and it's like the next day after that, I was on a delivery and my brakes stopped working. And I didn't even put this stuff together in my mind until way later. And maybe there's no relation. I don't know if I believe in like fucking curses or whatever.
Yeah, it sounds like a textbook curse.
Yeah. And I can't even remember what we were up there for the third and final time. Probably just had something to do, because in Heartland all you do is drive around and just see stuff and just walk around places.
Mm-hmm.
And
adventure-oriented place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah, if you're into adventure, Heartland's a cool place, but
if you're into just going out to eat, it's not a cool place.
no, you gotta.
Yeah, but the third and final time we went to the glove factory was right before I moved up here.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in there and we just like, hey, cool, it's a glove factory. I don't remember what we were doing that time, probably nothing. And we leave in my vehicle again. And that was right before I move up here. And I move up here, third and final time, I total the car. So, that's the curse of the glove factory. It curses vehicles, I guess.
It does sound like a textbook curse.
Yeah. It's probably like just that one I think is probably just circumstance. But makes for a good story.
I want to talk about curses. Okay, so No, I don't. I'm not talking about curses.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell another story. What's a good story?
You tell me, kid.
You fucking corrected my spelling on Liggett.
So you can find it.
Oh, well, fair enough. You know I'm going up there. You know I'm gonna go up there and do my thing.
Okay.
So, you wanna come?
No, I don't go back to the glove factory. Like I said, I don't even believe in the curse of the glove factory. That being said, I'm not going back.
That's fair. I don't want to tell the last story just yet.
Well, I don't have it anymore, so you're going to have to find another buffer story.
So, the first buffer story would be, after my roommate moved out of that first place, I got married and we were both moving in. And I could see apparitions out of the corner of my eye in his old room where his stuff was, and we cleaned out the house quickly.
Okay.
So, fuck it, I'm telling the last story.
Alright.
The heart of the homunculi.
The heart of the homunculi.
Yes.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay, so it was in my mad occultist phase. And as far as like spooky shit, this is my magnum opus. So, is everything okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I was sitting there, right? And I thought to myself, fuck it, I'm gonna make a person. As you do.
Yeah.
So I go out and I start studying old alchemical texts, old magic books, whatever resources I could find online in PDF forms. And I found all the necessary research to sort of take a whack at it.
Let's take a whack at alchemy.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to go into the finer details of what I did and why I did it. But
sorry.
I mixed together the solution, sewn up a doll, and placed the solution within the doll. In my mind is if I build.
Now, what you were trying to do was create a homunculus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like sort of like a pseudo one, but still like have some sort of like spirit connected to it to create sort of like a kind of life. And I had built a circulatory system and a brain and a heart. Once again, I will take these secrets to my grave. So after I put it together, I had it lying on the altar, and I was beginning the process, and halfway through, I stared into its fucking...
Lying on the altar.
Like, you know whenever you look into, like, a dog's eyes, you see the soul?
I guess, yeah.
Like, they seem soulful to you.
I don't think animals have souls, do they?
But dogs, they sort of feel that way.
Yeah.
So, like, I look into this thing's eyes, and it looks soulful, it looks alive, and it looks like it's staring at me. So I
Probably
kill it.
just spooking yourself.
So I kill it.
So you kill it.
I kill it, I dissect it, and I keep its heart.
What was its heart made of?
I'm not telling you. So
Come on, give me. You gotta give our people a visual or something at least.
It was. You know a cat's eye marble?
Yeah.
It was about that size. So I keep this heart in a jar for the longest time, but I don't know what I did with it. I managed to carry the heart of the homunculi for about 2 or 3 years, and it fucking vanished, and it's fucking with me.
So, let's break down that story. You make a doll. It scares you. You keep a marble. You lost it. I call bullshit on that story.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think the only thing scarier than that would be the toenail story.
Oh, excuse me. Toenail?
Your
Is that what you
toenail
said?
story. Your toenail story.
Not telling that one.
I'm telling that one.
No, I'll turn off the mic if you do. So just let's move on. Honestly.
I'm trying to think of other scary shit, like... Let's see, there's the old tree up in Dayhoyt with all the sigils on it.
Sigils?
Yeah.
What, like masons and
I've not seen it before. But my
sigil.
dad...
When you say sigil, what are you...
Like arcane sigils.
I don't know if you're using that word properly.
I am.
Okay.
Like, it's sort of like runic symbols.
Yeah, that's not what a sigil is.
What do you think
A sigil is like a coat of arms.
Not in the arcane
Like
world.
Then you're using the word wrong.
I'm
Like,
using it
fuck
correctly
off.
in its context.
No, your context is using... Whatever. It's... Say runes.
So, there's a bunch of, like, runes on it. And, like, whenever my dad got stuck in a bad relationship, he'd go up there, carve the names on the tree, and the next day he'd be out of the relationship somehow. I've not seen the tree.
Because he probably made... fucking sabotaged his own relationship or just broke up.
I don't know. But I want to see
so
the tree.
fucking stupid and weird.
It is, but I want to see the tree.
Have you not seen it?
Apparently it's dead but still growing. And puts off a bad energy. I want to see it though.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. So...
I thought you had seen it because you said you weren't familiar with the runes on it. Have you seen pictures of it or something?
It's just stories from people talking about it.
Well, how do you know what the runes look like?
I don't.
Okay. You said I haven't seen them before earlier, and I thought you meant like you had never seen them before that, like you don't recognize the runes or something.
No,
Yeah. All right. So that's my bad.
yeah. I'd like to find it.
Yeah, it is your bad.
I need to make a list of all the spooky places. I need to go to Liggett. I need to go to find the spooky tree. You want to find the spooky tree with me?
I'll tell you. I'll go with you to see a tree. Sure.
What else do I need to go find? What's a spooky place?
Hell.
Hell. That's a tricky one. So that's a tricky one to get to.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It'll take 10 minutes. We can send you there right now. That was dark. I apologize to all our listeners.
20 minutes suggests he's going to take his time. I look around. I'm in a room.
That's just how long it takes to weave the noose.
I look around. I see plenty of bludgeoning weapons, plenty of knives, plenty of swords. It could take a millisecond, but he wants to take 20 minutes, so.
I said 10 minutes, didn't I?
You said 20.
Well, alright. We'll take our time then.
Yeah.
Should we wrap this one up early? Just call it a short day?
A short day with
Yeah.
a short podcast?
Yeah. It's just
I don't
quick.
know.
It's just it's the Halloween special. I think we've exhausted all we have to say about ghostiness and spooky
Yeah.
stories, and
'Cause
we could divulge into another topic, but I kind of want this. It's a special, so it should be
It's-
contained to its theme.
Okay, that's cool. I sort of made my own bed with this one because I can't go into the finer details of my stories. But, this was a good episode,
It was
It was okay.
It's kind of weak. I don't think anybody will listen to it, but it was. I liked it. So
It was fun. It was
fun.
It was the Halloween special.
Get spooked, kids.
Fucking
It's already too late. There is a skeleton inside you.
spooky. So I guess it's my turn to take it out. You want to stretch this out to the 60-minute mark or just let it die?
Let it die. We're gonna just shut it down after I pick next week's topic, which is burgers.
You want to talk about cheeseburgers for 2 hours?
I can.
Okay, fuck it. We'll talk about cheeseburgers for 2 hours. That being said, I'll take a
Or food in general.
Food?
Yeah.
You want to make a cooking and recipes?
No, just food.
Okay, let's just talk about food. We can do that for 2 hours.
I'm sure we can talk about cooking recipes, but on the whole, just food.
Food? Okay, cool. Burgers, that would be a hard one.
No, burgers are great.
They are great.
Burgers are an art form. I love going to burger joints.
Yeah. I actually, well, let's save it.
Yep.
All right, I'll take us out. Have a happy Halloween. Be safe out there trick-or-treating, kids. And don't get your house possessed.
Boo.